Why does Scotland have a straight line through it, guys? I don't know. We're going to find out today. I found a video called Why There's a Straight Line Through Scotland, and it's by the Sci-Fi Show. No, the Sci Show, sorry. Anyways, hit like. Links to the original video is going to be down in the description section down below, and we're going to jump into it right now. No more playing around. Let's see why there's a straight line through Scotland, guys.
If you look at a map of Scotland, you'll notice an almost perfectly straight line through the Highlands that cuts from coast to coast.
Yeah, that is actually insanely straight. Yeah, and it just cuts straight through. Could they just use that as a nice canal system, actually?
That cuts from coast to coast. This region is home to plenty of valleys and peaks, but this valley is eerily straight. Some interesting geology had to happen there at some point.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one event. About 520 million years ago, most of Earth's landmass was split between two big continents.
Two? So this must have been after Pangea, right? Where it was just one continent? It was split into these two?
Laurentia and Gondwana. This meant the modern-day island of Great Britain was separated, with...
I wonder which one I'm at. Like, where was Indiana in the United States? Like, which one of these two, right?
The north of Scotland sitting on Laurentia, and the southern half of the island on Gondwana. Then the two landmasses collided around 430 million years ago during a period known as the Caledonian Orogeny, which joined the two pieces through the collision, forming the island we now know as Great Britain. This...
Really? Now, where was Ireland in this whole mess? Was Ireland up there with Scotland then, I would assume? Okay. How do they know this too? Like, you know, it really makes you wonder.
The process resulted in the crumple and buckle of the Earth's crust, which also formed new mountains and fault lines all around the world.
That would explain why there's so many crazy mountains and cliffside stuff, like, in Scotland in general? Because it just, like, crumpled together.
One of those new faults was the Great Glen, which is a strike-slip fault. This kind of fault happens when two tectonic plates shear or move horizontally past each other. Other types of faults typically move one of the plates vertically, which creates mountains and all kinds of elevated terrain above the fault. But
yeah, because it'll just go like... And then one side gets shoved up, the other side gets all crumpled. Yep.
Because of how these two plates collided with each other during its formation, the pieces of the Great Glen Fault move horizontally. And they've actually moved a few times since the formation of the fault. The Great Glen Fault has occasionally reactivated, and the two landmasses, Laurentia and Gondwana, moved anywhere from 8 to 29 kilometers each time.
Okay, so when you got it moving back and forth, eventually they're gonna like basically like sand each other down and create that straight line. I think that's where they're going with this.
This is a thing that faults do from time to time to dissipate built-up stress. When force is applied by the two landmasses punching against each other, stress is created. And when it reaches a tipping point, the plates shear and move in opposite directions to relieve that built-up stress. The biggest reactivation happened relatively recently, sometime in the last 66 million years, possibly prompted by other parts of Earth's crust spreading apart nearby. But why don't we see straight lines like this more often? Well, these days, the Great Glen Fault line is even more visible due to a string of lakes or lochs. That's because most of the islands of Great Britain and Ireland were covered in enormous ice sheets during a handful of ice ages over the last few 100,000 years. The glaciers around the Great Glen started receding over 10,000 years ago, carving a deep valley along the fault line that actually goes below sea level, making that straight line through Scotland even more visible. So this straight fault line is the product of 500 million years of time and geology, and it's evidence of the large-scale events that formed Earth as we know it today.
So that means Scotland is in two pieces. Technically, they're just like shoved against each other. Very cool.
Thank you for watching this episode of...
That's the end of that. Yeah. Why there's a straight line? So, is there anywhere else, I wonder, that does happen? Like, I mean, I guess it's a pretty rare occurrence, really, because it's just the chances that those two things happen in that same way to rub against each other or whatever it is. But anyways, you guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.